Today, we're going to put some attention on the rear of the Jeep. So I need to add rear recovery points on the back of this Jeep. And rather than building a whole new bumper, because I'm under kind of a time constraint, I want to just fix this and add 2 tabs in the back here, just for now. And with this bumper being all bent up, decided to throw the front bumper on the back. So what I'm going to do is make supports that tie into the frame, weld that tab on here so I can put a shackle on it, and somehow secure this temporarily on those supports. So let's get started. Nailed it. I gotta do the same thing on that side. Yay! Let's try a big dog. Sweet! I don't really care if this snaps because I'm not reusing that support. I win! Yummy! Cool. Moving on. Alright. So here's my idea for this little adaptation to a rear bumper. I'm going to use this 2x3 rectangular tube. It's 3/16 wall, and I'm going to slide it into the unibody frame. Mark the 4 holes on the bottom, and I'll either tap this, but most likely I'll weld nuts to this, and then where the stock mount actually bolted up, I'm going to pick up these 4 holes and just strap some 1/4 inch thick steel there. The main reason I'm doing this is just so I have a rear recovery point. And this will be a foundation for a spare tire carrier rear bumper deal. So I want to spend some time doing this, and then we'll just make the front bumper, fit this for now, just so I have a rear bumper. And it kind of covers up all this stuff here. First things first is we have to cut the sheet metal out here so we can actually slide this dude into the frame. So there's a tube inside here for the filler neck on the driver's side. And to figure out where the tube actually is inside this frame rail, I'm going to measure from that filler neck to the outside edge here, which is, looks like 6 7/8. So if I measure to this hole in the very back, I'm just hooking the tape measure on my finger to here, it's 14 1/8. From the very edge of the tube in there to the outside edge of this tube is 7 1/4 away. So I'm going to add another 1/2 inch to that. So 7 3/4. So this is what I got sketched out. So this piece is 22 inches long. And that filler neck is right here. 7 3/4 from this edge. So I got it marked at 7 3/4. And then I ended up sticking the rule from my square in underneath that filler neck, and it ended up, you know, the 1 inch rule actually fit standing up inside the frame rail. So the notch I got here is 7 3/4 by 2, seeing as how this is a 3-inch tube. So there we go. I'll just cut that out with a plasma cutter. So I made this plate to secure to the back here. All it is 1/4 inch thick plate, made a 1-to-1 scale print of it, cut it out, pasted it on to the steel, and actually that'll give you your holes and all your cut lines and everything. It's really nice, you know, to have, because you can just slide it on and weld it up. So that'll go on there. We'll have 4 bolts. Then I'll have 4 bolts in the bottom, and then right out here will be the tab, just like the ones on the front. I've made a cap for the end of this, and I think rather than trying to slide this dude in here and weld it on both sides of that plate, I think I'm just gonna weld this on and then weld this to that plate. And then this will be done. Fucking bullshit porosity again. I cleaned both sides of that metal. Ugh. Well, there you have it. A rear recovery point. It's kind of overkill for what I'm using it for, but this is again going to be the foundation for a rear bumper and tire carrier setup. So I want this to be very, very strong. So I've been starting on this this passenger side, and just like before, I'm just cutting out the tube here so I can slide this piece of tube in, and I'm just leveling it up with this body line right up here, if you can see it. And it looks pretty good where it's at. I might need to come down a little bit on this side, but not too bad. I got it jacked up quite a bit underneath there, and I'm hoping that that doesn't mess up my flange here that I made for my bolts. This dude. Hope this dude still fits. So we're gonna try and fit that up. It fits, but just barely. I'm thinking what I might do is clearance the top here to drop it down, and then it should be good to weld that up. I'll measure from this point here to this edge on that that support over there, and then we'll just line this one up with it. I'm noticing that my cut is kind of angled, so I might take this tube out, flip it over, check that other side to see if it's any better, and we'll use that side to plate over and put the tab on. But it's shaping up. Should be able to tie something onto this side, tie something onto the front bumper, and be able to rip this Jeep in half. Hopefully we never do that though, because I kind of like it, you know? It's not very pretty, but it's mine. So, clean up this top edge, get this fitting a little bit better, trace our holes down here, tack weld it up, weld it, and we'll move on. All right, so I'm not gonna touch this because this is really hot, but I finished that thing. So now this is what we got. Here, let me get in the way more. Cool, huh? So what I'm gonna do now, or I guess what I've already started, is to get the stock front bumper onto the back. I'm going to actually flip it over upside down. So this is actually the bottom when it's on the front. So this is going to be the lift gate side. I've got the center marked on here. I've got the center marked on there. So So all I'm going to do is from that center line, I'm going to measure over so I can cut that 2x3 to expose it through here. I'll do it on the other side too. There we go. That's the basic idea. I'm gonna cut the tops a little bit higher because it's rubbing basically the bottom edge of the lift gate here. So I think if I dropped it another 1/4 inch vertically on here, it'll fit pretty good. Then I'll have to come up with some kind of brackets or something. I might just weld angle iron on it and drill a hole through it or something. I don't know. And whatever I do to this bumper is not going to be, you know, it's not going to be on here for very long. It's really just to give me a bumper so A, I don't get pulled over, and B, it kind of pretties it up a little bit. So this is what we're doing. If I bring you in here, all I'm doing is adding this piece of angle iron. I think it's 1/8 inch. I'm not sure how wide it is. I think it's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. But I'm just going to use this and those holes to basically just secure this bumper on these tabs. I don't think I really need much more than that. I mean, if the bumper gets tore off, it gets tore off. I'm not too worried about it. So I think I'll weld those up and drill through it for a bolt, and that'll be it. Welder doesn't like welding on a 25-foot cord. Whoops. There we go. Apparently it's still rubbing on the lift gate, but I can bend that down. That's pretty much it, guys. Like I said numerous times, this is only temporary. I don't plan on putting a lot of effort into making this look good because I'm gonna end up taking it off. These will end up staying. And I gotta figure out, you know, the whole tire carrier, rear bumper, hitch, you know, shenanigans. But this should make it so I can get pulled out of the mud. Yeah. So, thanks for watching.